Hey, y'all, welcome back to episode 74 of the Late Night Vision Show. We've got a great show for you today. We're talking about SHOT Show 2020, giving our predictions and kind of a wish list. But before we get on to that, I want to introduce the owner of Outdoor Legacy Gear, the defender of freedom, the protector of your Second Amendment rights.
Oh, my gosh.
Resident expert of all things night vision and thermal related, and the founding and maybe only member of the Small Hog Lives Matter movement, Mr. Jason, a.k.a. Justin Robertson. How you doing, bud?
And it is Jason, for those that don't know, but sometimes Hans forgets and calls me all kinds of random names.
You know, I talk to a lot of people. It's hard for me to remember everybody's name, but I mean, I do talk to you. I've talked to you every day for the last several years now. And
yeah, that's awesome. Hours. Yeah, multiple times a day normally, but that's cool. Whatever. I remember your name most of the time, but golly. Yeah, we have to have a show about that, about what Hans's real name is sometime. But that's a whole nother show. Yeah,
that'd be a good, maybe a contest.
There you go. Yeah. That's right.
It's a lot better than my nickname, I guess.
That's true. That's true. Well, I tell you what. I don't know about the introduction there, but I am the founding. I'm the founder, the president, and member of the Small Hog Lives Matter Association. So, hey, there's been an update to that too. I'll be posting on Instagram pretty soon, but. I have added one of the smallest that I've ever killed to that group, and I'm going to be posting some pictures of that, and if all goes well, I'll be posting some pictures from my my pellet smoker next weekend too.
Well, so that intro
is ready.
My goal pretty much for every show is to make you laugh so much that it just completely gets you off track. And and kind of like what happened on our last show, but that's my goal, is to see how much I can get your wheels to fall off the wagon.
I'm going to tell y'all something. When these shows are over, if last week Hans got me tickled about the four brightness settings: high, medium, low, and off. But what he loves to do is then send a group text to me and him and our wives and tell them about how red I got, and how red faced and embarrassed I got, and he loves to try to trip me up, which it's not hard to do. Well, hey, I tell you what, I want to jump in here to something that people care about. Last week on the show, we mentioned that we're going to start carrying the sniper hog lights, which are the infrared illuminators that work for all the digital night vision scopes. Specifically, me and Rose wanting to use them for the AT&X sights, the Sightmark Photons, and the Sightmark Wraiths. Very popular. Those will be in the warehouse, unless the UPS loses them or something. They'll be in the warehouse by the time this show airs. And we've already got orders from customers. I had guys calling me Thursday after the show dropped saying, I'm ready to put my order in right now. And so I'm very happy to say that. But I wanted to show people the size of these lights. Now, they're big.
When they called it the Coyote Cannon, I don't think they were lying.
No, it's a cannon. And I want y'all to see this. These things are super popular. This is what everybody's buying. Mm-hmm. You go to the message boards, you go over to the Facebook groups where the guys are all using the Wraiths, and these are the lights they're using. But I just want to show you how big these are to give you an idea. So this, if you're watching on YouTube, and if you're not, you need to go see this. This is the size of, this is the standard light, infrared light that comes on the side of a Sightmark Wraith. This, if you can see this here, is the 66 model. This is the 66 LRX. All right, so you can see it's
the smaller of the two.
Yeah, it's big. All right, you can see how big this thing is. Now, this cannon, I don't know if I can get far enough away to show this thing. It is. I don't even think the pictures do this thing justice or the video that I'm showing. This thing is giant. It is huge. It is a big old light.
I think I'm just going to mount mine to my truck and just hunt by my truck the whole time.
I'm going to tell you, it's big. But I will say one thing. I didn't have these just came in this afternoon, and before the show we were recording tonight, I ran out there, grabbed my Wraith, I took it out there. And I'm not joking. These things do what they claim with just this 66, just this model, not even the Canon.
Yeah.
I can, I'll tell you, I turned it on with my Wraith, and I've got a wood line that's close to 500 yards back there, and there was a deer standing about 25 yards from it, and not only could I see it was a deer, I could clearly tell that it was a doe. I mean, it was unbelievable.
You look on social media, anybody that's hunting with night vision, it seems like they've got a sniper hog light, because you can tell, because it's that red light.
It is. They're good looking lights.
Red housing. Everybody's got them, man. That's just one of those things that.
Well,
you can't night hunt without one of those.
They're a Texas. They're a Texas company, and we're going to be talking about them. We'll do some reviews of these and let y'all know. I'm looking at ordering in. Right now, I've got the 66 and the Canon. Those are by far the two they sell the most of. But I'm going to go ahead. There's another model that I want to order and test out. So I'm going to get Hans and I one of those models as well. So we'll be talking about them soon. There's a lot of cool features on these. I'm going to tell y'all something, and I'm very serious about this. This is the reason that I chose Sniper Hog Lights. I've been in this business for many years, and I started, the very first scopes I ever sold were digital night vision scopes. And I've been around illuminators a long time, and I've never seen any of this quality. The make, the feel. These are high quality lights. The design is really, really good, and I'm telling you, never seen anything like it. And the price is better than anything that I've seen. I mean, a lot of the lights that we've sold for years have been great, but these are less expensive, and they are built to last. And I'm not going to keep going on and on about them. I'm going to say one more quick thing and be done. One thing I do like, and I did it with these and for Hans and I, is I went ahead and ordered in the white LED module. So you can take these things, unscrew the head, take out the LED. This has got the 850 nanometer infrared LED module. Take that out, drop in a white. You can buy red, green, white, 940, 850, whatever. And all it takes is unscrewing it, dropping it in. I turned this thing on tonight with the white light in there, and you talk about spotlight. You can see a long way. So anyway, cool deal. We'll be talking more about them. I just kind of wanted to show the size, and we will be doing some reviews on them with the Wraiths and stuff very soon.
Yep. Well, also in some other good news, the Thermions and the Axions have a very important firmware update. So if you own one of these optics, you need to rush right over to your cell phone, connect to the Stream Vision app, and download that bad boy, because I'm going to tell you, hallelujah, the sound has arrived for the Thermion and the Axion. All you got to do is download that firmware update. There's some other things in there. Jason, I'll kind of pick out some. Yeah,
tell us the important stuff.
Yeah, really the main thing for the Thermion and the Axion is now the microphone has been activated. So you need to go in there, download the firmware update, and you've got to go in the menu and turn the mic on. When you download the firmware update, it's not automatically going to be on. You got to go in the menu and turn it on. Some other quick press button things have changed. So when you're to switch back and forth to different viewing modes, whether forest, rocks, or I don't know what the other one's called, forest or rocks or outdoor, or whatever it is.
Yeah, it's that. I think it's the identification. It's got the eyeball symbol or something.
Identification. Now you have some quick press modes where it's right there on top. You don't have to go through the menu anymore. Basically, it's a quick press of one of the buttons on top of the unit. Really, they say there's some video enhancements to help the contrast, so overall better picture quality changes in here. I don't think those are Jason, you said you did your Axion and you thought maybe it looked a little bit better.
I did an Axion XM30 tonight right before the podcast, and went out and looked through it, and I don't know, it may be a placebo, but I thought it was better. I mean, I was looking at a deer at 400 yards, and when it raised its head up, I was like, whoa, I can kind of see the neck on that and realize that's a deer, and I don't feel like I could have done that with the XM30 before. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I could. I didn't do it before and after. I mean, I've been looking through it, but just wasn't tonight, so I don't know. I thought it looked good. I thought that again, unless you're just holding one before and after side by side, it's hard to say. But I thought it looked really good. And yeah, Hans is right. The audio will be enabled. You'll just have to go turn it on. That's going to be the biggest deal for most people.
Yeah.
I was going to say, there's also some other image quality type improvements for the Thermions. I know there's been a few people that have had a few dots show up on their screen, and they thought they were dead pixels. And I don't know exactly what was going on, but this firmware update, clears that up. And so anyway, I think it's great, and I'm glad that the audio is here. We didn't have to wait very long.
Well, one other thing I'll mention is now when you're recording video, you can pause the video and then resume the video. So if there's any stuff that you don't want on the video, you can just pause it, come back and restart the video, and then close it out and save it. So that was not. Yeah.
No, I was going to say, the only thing I want to say about that, I'm assuming this is working the same way all the trails and the Helions do.
Yep.
If you pause that video and you turn that scope off, you lose the video. When you pause it, you have to come back to the video and hold the button and stop the video. So there's a lot of guys that when they put that pause feature on the trails and stuff, they're like, oh yeah, I had this great video and it's gone. I don't know what happened. I said, did you pause it? Well, yeah. Well, when you turn it off, it's just paused. It's not saved yet. So
you got
anyway,
it's a long press. A quick press of the record button will pause it. A long press will close it out and save it. So make sure you do that. There was one interesting thing at the bottom of this, I guess if you could call it a press release or social media release. More info on the Axion Key firmware update coming soon. So I wonder what they're going to do with that, Mr. Jason. I don't know.
How could you do a firmware update to the key?
I don't know.
Since it won't record and it doesn't have Wi-Fi.
I don't know, unless that was a mistype or something. But
what does it say? I did not see that.
At the very bottom, it says more info on Axion Key firmware update coming soon. So maybe I don't know, but more to come on that.
I'm just thinking out loud here. Wow, man! Hey. Breaking news on the Late Night Vision show, and we have no idea what it means. I didn't see that. That's interesting.
Everybody rush over. If you've got a Thermion or Axion, go update that. Do the firmware update. You'll get sound. You'll love it. It's going to be awesome. We all knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of time. So I know social media is not going to have to talk about that anymore.
Yeah, exactly. They can they'll be satisfied and find something else to talk about for a while.
Thank y'all for joining us this week. I know, gosh, we're just now getting into the topic, but we had to get that stuff out of the way. This is the SHOT Show 2020 predictions. And I will say this, there's a lot of people that call in and they delay buying a scope, or they have a lot of questions. What do you think is going to come out? I don't want to buy something now and something brand new come out and it makes everything else obsolete. What do I do? A lot of people look to us for that information, but I'm going to tell you right now, all the information we're going to give you right now and tonight is pure speculation. We have no inside information on what's going to be
Actually, that's probably not true. We probably do. We're just not going to tell you.
There might be some stuff we can't say.
I'm
no, but all this stuff is going to be what we think. There's going to be two categories: what we think might come out, and our wish list. What we hope that the manufacturers come out with, and we're going to go really manufacturer by manufacturer. We're going to go through the major ones, the 5 major ones, and really we're going to start out with FLIR because I'm going to let you handle that one.
Well, yeah, and I just want to say this is not only our predictions, seat of the pants, crystal ball looking. This is going to be basically the 1st of October, so 3.5 months down the road, because SHOT Show is actually towards the end of January. So we're 3.5 months out.
You say that. 2 months ago, people were asking us what was coming out of SHOT Show. So everybody already knows
it is, but it's 3.5 months out. We're going to be just guessing, but we are going to do the wish list. And if you're old enough to remember the Sears and Roebuck catalog, I mean, you get Sears catalog and it's got all the Christmas toys, and you go in there and you circle and you look at all the things you want that you're probably never going to get if you're like me, but you didn't need, but you wanted it. So we're going to do some of that. If we could, and we're going to do realistic things that we would like to see, not just, the entire whole
Now I realize that our parents did that just to get rid of us for a couple hours. Hey, go circle what you want in this book, you know. And they
yeah, you're not going to get any of it, but here's the Sears and
we
Roebuck
get an hour-long break while they're doing
exactly.
that. So.
That's right. Okay, so FLIR. This is interesting. So boy, what do I'm going to say what I want to see from FLIR. All right, my wish list.
Before you get into that,
do
a kind of a recap of the 2019 and if you were impressed or underwhelmed or kind of let us know.
This will be short. FLIR. Gosh, I'm trying to be nice. FLIR basically came out with nothing for 2019. They did announce a new monocular called the Scion, and I'm just going to shoot you straight. We never heard about it again. No.
And I'll tell you,
I know they're making it, but I've talked to. I talk to my FLIR rep once a week, and I've asked about it a couple times and nothing. I'm sure they're around. We know nothing about it. I'll be honest. We were underwhelmed looking at it at SHOT. It's just like the Scouts. It's big. It's blocky. I personally just wasn't a big fan of the design. I'm sure the image quality is fine. I don't know anything about it because they just really didn't push it. They just.
Well, I'll say this.
I'm trying to be nice.
Yeah, I know, and I'm gonna cut in, so I'll help you be nice.
Okay.
Well, we walked up to the FLIR booth, and the FLIR booth was a big booth, and it just seemed like there was nothing in it. They had a few Scouts laid out, and there was nothing. I mean, there was no buzz around it. Not a lot of people hopping around. Not a lot of people checking them out. And for me, it was underwhelming. Now, we have the PTS 233, the 536, the 736. Those have been pretty good units.
For a couple years.
Those have been good units. Those were not released at 2019 SHOT Show. Those were released before that. But we have those three scoops. No, scoops. We have those three scopes, and they're good. They're good selling units. They're good. They're decent units. But
they're not decent. They're good units.
They're good units.
Yeah. Don't say decent. They're good units. Yeah.
Jason and I are definitely hoping for more out of that.
Yes.
And I'm afraid of that. It's going to be a 2019 all over.
Well, you're giving your predictions already, man. Well, okay. Yeah. So what is my wish list? My wish list, and again, it's wish list. I doubt this is possible, but I would like to see so we've got the 233, and look, we're going to talk about some of these scopes. We're just going to assume you know what they are, and if you don't, we understand a lot of this is inside baseball. We like the 233 as an entry level. The 536, beautiful image quality at $3,800, but it's 4 power. I would love to see a 2.5 power right in the middle. Be about $2,999, even $3,200, somewhere in there. That $3,000 give or take price range in a 2.5 power. With about a 38 millimeter objective lens, that thing would sell like hotcakes.
Yeah.
I'd own one. I mean, that would be a great optic. I'd love to see that, and I want them to do something that they should do this. There's no reason not to. The boson thermal core, which is what they have in these PTS units right now, 233, 536, 736. I want to see it in the 640, in the 640 12 micron. They have the core. The core exists. FLIR is using that in other parts of their company. They have not used it in the hunting optics, and I want to see it. I mean, that's what we thought we were going to get this year.
Yeah. I
am hoping for the best that we can see that in 2020 SHOT Show. And I beg and hope that it is a lower magnification. If they want to have a 4 power, fine. But I don't want to go just 4, 6, 8 power, something crazy. I want it to be, again, 2.5 power. And if you want a 4 power, super. I mean, that'd be great. But have something in that 2 to 3 power magnification range with a wider field of view than what the the 536 and the 736 have. So
Yeah.
that's my wish list. Do you have anything different you want to add to the wish list part?
No. I think you hit the nail on the head.
Okay.
We just honestly, I want to see something new from them, and
I know.
I don't care what it is at this point.
Well, I care what it is, but I want it to be good, and I want them to have their heart behind it, and I want it to be something that they really want and want to push. Now, so here's my prediction, and I'm going to give my percentage chance of this is going to happen. First prediction is that we do get the Boson 640 12 micron, in a couple scopes, say 2 or 3 scopes. I give that a 60% chance of happening.
Wow.
Okay?
That's
60.
pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
The I don't think they'll add anything to the 233, 536, 7. I don't think that'll happen. Yeah. So I think our only hope, and I'm giving it a 60% chance, is that's what we'll see, is the 640s. The 40%, that other 40%, is that they'll do absolutely nothing.
Absolutely.
That's too big of a percentage for that. I hope that's not true.
I just want to see some signs of life, and we haven't seen much, haven't heard much either. So we're keeping our fingers crossed for hoping that Jason's predictions and wish list come all true. Maybe Santa Claus will come.
Yeah, I hope so. Here's the deal, folks. FLIR's a great company. These scopes, these Thermosight Pros are rock solid, and they are great scopes. We have had excellent luck, very, very few problems out of them. And so I just want to see that line expand. I'm going to say one more thing before I get off of FLIR. If I have one more wish list, I wish, and I've told them this, I wish that they would take every single scope that they brought in from the Armasight line when they bought Armasight over 3 years ago and discontinue it. Mm-hmm. Every one of them. All the Zeuses, all the Predators, all that stuff. Those scopes are 4 or 5 years old now. I'm not saying they're bad scopes, but they don't make any sense to be on the market anymore. Not at the pricing they're at. I'd love to see them just wipe them away. I understand why they keep them because they only got 3 modern scopes, but add some more scopes and just cut and trim the fat and dedicate all the time, energy, and effort to the new scope. So that's what I'd like to see. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that's what I'd like.
All right. Well, I'm going to move on. I'm going to talk about Envision because, man, SHOT Show 2019, brand new company on the consumer market with a couple new thermals that that came out, and man, we were really excited about it. We've tested them, the regular Halo and the Halo LR, 2 very high quality thermal units, competing directly with Trijicon, same quality. You and I think if you ask, and I don't want to speak for you, but I think I prefer the Envision Halo over the Trijicon because of the ease of use of the scope. The picture quality is just the same, if not in some cases people have said a little bit better. So for their first scopes on the market, they sure did do a good job with it. We got a chance to go by the Envision booth. We got to meet some of the guys that work for Envision. Seems like a really good company, good people. What we're hoping, and I've talked about this in the past, they've got the Halo, which is around $6,000, the introductory scope. They've got the Halo LR, which is pushing close to $8,000.
75.
Exactly.
Yep.
And so, you've got those 2 scopes, which are considered high end for the thermal market for the average buyer. What I would love to see, I'll tell you my wish list before we get to the predictions. What I would love to see is, something in that, if they could produce something in a $3,000 range, $3,000, $5,000 range, drop down a little bit, give us something, obviously it's not going to be a 640 scope resolution. It's going to be in the 320, 12 micron range, but I would love to see something that they could do in that lower price range to compete and still have some good picture quality, but something to compete in that dollar range. my prediction is.
Hang on.
Yeah.
Can I give my wish list?
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me give my wish list real quick. I think what you're asking for is great. I'm going to ask for the moon and the stars. And and I know this, I shouldn't say I know it can't be done, but to date, it can't be done. Nobody's been able to do it, and there's a lot of reasons behind it. The BAE thermal core that they use, the same one that Trijicon does, it is the best, 12 micron 640 thermal core on the consumer market. I would, but that core does not lend itself to internal video recording. That's why Trijicon and Envision don't have it. I've heard a lot of different reasons. Most of them are a little over my head of why it won't work, but it doesn't. And so my wish list would be that there's some way, whether they have to, get a different core or whether they find a way to do it with the BAE core, but I want to see a 640 high resolution 12 micron, this kind of image quality with internal video recording, because right now it does not exist.
Well, if you're going to do that, you might as well find a way to get some rechargeable batteries on that bad boy too. So
hey, if we're asking for the moon, so what's your real prediction? What do you think they're going to do?
They've got to do something. A company that new, really second year presenting at the SHOT Show, they've got to come out with something. I do believe that there is a chance that they're going to produce a 320. Jason, I don't think you're going to get your wish on internal video recording, as much as I wish it would happen. I do think that they're going to come out with a 320 12 micron scope. I think it's going to be obviously running on CR123A batteries. It's going to have a video out port. And I think it's going to be in the 2 power range. And I think it's going to be in that.
That is very specific. Golly.
And I don't know, but that's.
I'm going to make a prediction.
I've been kind of floating that flag up the ladder, and we'll see how far it gets. So
I'm going to make my prediction, and I don't mean this in bad in any way, shape, or form. I give them a 90% chance of doing nothing. And that's not because I don't think they care about the market or the industry or their, ship is, floating without a sail. I think it's the opposite of that. I think that they are, new to the consumer industry. I think that producing these 2 scopes was, a act of Congress for them. I think it's a feat to come in and challenge the big boys, the biggest boy, in the market, Trijicon, and I think it's too soon for them to come in and do anything else. And I am talking completely with no inside knowledge whatsoever, but they have shown themselves through their Atlas binoculars, thermal binoculars, and the halos, that so far to date they don't have an interest in the semi-high end or middle of the road optics. So if they were to come in with a $3,000 to $4,000 optic, that would be a big signal of a change of direction of what they have started and kind of what their original mission would be. I think it would be good. I think it would be personally. I think it'd be wise. I think we need that in this market. That's why I'm still rooting for FLIR to do something. We need some more options in there in this middle of the road. But I think they're going to do nothing just because I'm not sure. I think it might be too soon, but we'll see. I don't know. That's my prediction.
I would just think that if you're trying to break in and make a name for yourself, that you've got to follow up the next year with something new. But that segues into our next scope manufacturer. Maybe they feel like they don't have to make any changes because their direct competition, Trijicon, hasn't made a whole bunch of changes.
Trijicon hasn't done anything since they bought them from IR Defense. The only thing they've done has come out with the Type 2 REAP IRs, which in my opinion is nothing. It was a disappointment. It was a, I would say a to-do about nothing, but there was barely even a to-do about it. It was just like, oh, by the way, we're coming out with Type 2 REAP-IRs, and, what are the big benefits? Now we're going to turn the batteries, and instead of putting them horizontal, we're going to put them vertical. We can go higher caliber rating, and guess what? Now you can't use external battery packs. Awesome. So can't wait. I mean, I don't know. I'm being negative Nancy here, but
we walked by the Trijicon booth, and it was like, we probably spent no time there at all, but we walked by there and we're like, oh, yep, we've seen all that. And
there's nothing. There's no excitement. They're not. There's the Trijicon booth is an exciting booth. There's a lot going on, but the thermals are stuck over there, on some fake rifles leaned over there, and it's just kind of like, oh yeah, we have thermals too. Yeah. So I don't know. I honestly have no idea what's going on over there. There's a lot of people that have their finger on that pulse a lot more than I do. They may have big things planned, but I'm unaware of it. And so what I would like to see, the same thing I'd like to see Envision do. I'd like to see them somehow come out with a high-end optic, 640 12 micron with video recording, with battery packs. I just think we're in the day and age. If you're going to sell a scope for $7,000 to $9,000, you got to have some features. The image quality is great, but this market is ready for some features. And I know if you say, well, it's impossible for us to do, then I think it's time to change cores. And, maybe you keep these scopes, but you have some other options. But anyway, that's what I'd like to see. What I think they're going to do, I don't know. I just cannot imagine them doing anything. I don't know. I'm going to predict they do nothing again for year, 4. I don't know. I mean,
the first 3 scope companies we talked about, your prediction is that they're going to do nothing.
Well, let me say this: you're correct, and 2 of them that would just be. If I'd have predicted that last year, I'd be exactly right. We already knew what Envision was going to do. Okay, so what do you think? I mean, what's your prediction here?
Oh well, if your pulse is on Trijicon, not a lot. Mine's even less than that. I agree. There's no signal or sign of anything coming down the road. I think they're happy where they're at. They still have the name. They've got the best name in the business when it comes to picture quality, even though I'm sure Envision has had to take away a little bit of their market with their scope, their competing scope, because they're using the same thermal cores that Trijicon's using. There's been a lot of people down here in Texas and in the South that's really been pumping it up, the Envision. So that's got to hurt them a little bit, but you're right. I think they're focused on other things. I think thermal is a side thought for them. They want to have that option because they want to have their foot in it. But I don't see anything.
I'll make a prediction right here since we're making wild predictions.
You already made your prediction. You're going to do
I'm going to make one more in general.
Okay.
And this is not a slam against Trijicon. All right, we sell them. They're great optics, okay? Yeah. I mean, and I think it's a testament to how good they are when you don't have to do anything for 4 years and 5 years, whatever it is, and they're still the number 1 best quality optic on the market. You know what I mean? I mean, come on. There's something to be said there. I think if they don't make a change in the next year or 2 and really get out there and do something, I think they'll eventually go away. I think they'll go completely out of the... I think that... Here's the thing. If somebody else comes out with a 12 micron 640, it's probably not going to, beat the BAE or even match it. But if it is, if it is 85% there and it's got video recording, maybe a battery pack, man.
I mean,
I'm not talking this year. I'm just saying something. They either got to get on the stick and do something, or they're going to lose some relevance in this industry as the industry continues to progress. Okay.
I think that's a good prediction. And I'm looking at my list of show notes. I can't blame anybody for assigning ATN to me to talk about, but
well, I can't.
I'm already dreading it. No,
I don't know what you're going to say. I don't even.
So I will say.
I'm so glad you got it. So you tell me, what do you think ATN's going to do? What's your wish list first?
Oh gosh. Well, before we get in that, I will say that 2019, the SHOT Show, the ATN booth seems to be hopping all the time. There's people in and out. I mean, it's busy. I mean, I don't think we can disagree with that. There's a lot of people in there, a lot of industry people.
Comments. You're right. It is. It's a busy booth.
So last year they came out with the $1,200 thermal rifle scope. Jason and I looked at it at the show. We didn't think it was that great, but Jason has his hands on one right now, and I don't know, man. He keeps calling to me every night, and he seems to think it's decent. I'll say decent.
Yeah. We're gonna have to talk about it. Hans hasn't seen it. We looked. Hans and I both looked through it previously, and what we saw was a prototype. I guess didn't know, but it was horrendous. And
it looked like it looked like somebody shot it on a 50 BMG, and it had about 10 or 11 blown out pixels on it. And this is the one on the showroom floor, for people to see. And
it looked worse than an LTO tracker. Yeah. And I'm not just being mean here, folks. I'm being dead serious. It was like, oh my gosh. The unit I've got right now, I'm really not prepared to talk about it. Like on the show and giving you a review. I've only had a couple nights, but I did order it just because I wanted to see it. And I'm going to start with saying I don't know enough, but I'll say it's not bad.
It's not bad.
I have a lot of complaints about it, and I would not, at least today, currently advise anybody to buy it. But it's interesting. So what do you think what's your wish list for them to do?
I have a lot. How much time do we have? And
let's just be. Hey, you know what? I think we'll both say the same thing, and you can tell me if I'm wrong. I don't really care what to do with their scopes. What I want them to do is fix their customer service. Yeah. I want them fix the customer service, fix the buggy scopes, the problems that are known that happen over and over. Fix that and fix the customer service, and then we'll talk. I've told people before, I do not hate ATN, not at all. I wish them the best. I want to sell their stuff one day because there's really only 4 major manufacturers, 5 now that you've got Envision, and since we don't sell ATN any longer, we've been down the road before and gotten burned, and our customers gotten burned. Something's got to change there, and folks, it's not just us. If you look at the 1, 2, 3, 4 biggest dealers in the state of Texas, online dealers, including us, none of us sell ATN any longer. And so there's a real problem there. I want to see the customer service fixed. I don't want a Band-Aid. I want an admission of sin and repentance. I want it fixed. And I've said this before. I don't care if the scope prices go up 10, 15%. You know what? It's not $2,500 anymore. It's $2,800. It's not $3,000. It's $3,300, $3,400. Great. Fix the customer service. Don't make the scope as cheap, and we'll be somewhere. I don't think their products are all junk. I think if you get one that works, it can be really good. But it's a risk that I'm not willing to take selling one to somebody right now.
So my prediction, a lot of people talking about that ATN Thor 4, and that's, they want to comparing it to all different types of thermals and all this. What they're going to do, my prediction is they're going to throw a bunch of stuff at everybody and get everybody excited about all these features and calibration and ballistics, and they're going to continue to throw all this stuff at them and hope that you don't look behind the curtain at the fact that as a company their customer service is poor. So I think they're just going to keep throwing features and scopes at us.
I think so too. And I will say, in their defense, they may not do anything this year. That's what I keep saying. But they did come out with a bunch of new stuff. Okay.
They did.
And the way this industry works is generally it's on a 2 to 3 year product cycle. Okay. So that's the general way it works. You keep something for 2 to 3 years, and then you either replace it or you do a significant upgrade or add to or whatever. So, I keep saying that they're not going to do anything, but this is for a different reason. I mean, they did come out with a lot of new stuff, and so those scopes are still pretty new on the market, but they could. I'm predicting. I'll just make a wild prediction. They're going to have a $999, ATN scope that you can buy at Walmart. I think they'll have $1,000 and a $999 scope that will be available at the checkout counter at Walmart. I think that they're going to be the first people to do it. I mean, they're already at 12 something, so it's going to happen.
They sell a lot of scopes, man. They sell
a ton
of
scopes.
Let's move on to Pulsar. Big splash in 2019. They had the Thermion release. They had the Axion release. We've had them now for on some of the models. We've had them for a couple months. What do you think could possibly be next and be in top what they've already put out? Because there was 2019 was a big splash for them.
What do I wish? What's my wish list?
Yeah. What do you wish? What do you expect?
I wish for 2 things.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I wish for the Axions to have better image quality, maybe the 640s. I'm saying this meaning I expect the price to go up. I would like to see the Axions replace the current Helions, and I don't care if the prices stay the same, $3,000 to $4,000. That's what the Helions are today. $3,000 for the XQ38, $4,000 for the XP50, and there's 2 other models in between. I would like to see the Helions replaced with the Axions with the same image quality. Doesn't have to be better, just the same image quality.
Yeah.
That's what I want as a wish list, and I think it's possible. I mean, I think the design, the form factor is awesome on the Axions, but they were intentionally this way. They were replacing the entry-level quantum lights. And so we want to see, I know you do too. We want to see the Helion moved into the Axion form factor. So that's number one. Go ahead. I'll let you talk to that real quick.
Yeah, I want to talk about binoculars. It would seem to me as, I guess, somebody in the business, but not in the business like these scope manufacturers are. But it seems to me that a thermal monocular is such a great crossover item that everybody would be just marketing those and manufacturing those as much as they can, designing, because the applications in which a thermal monocular can be used stretches all and goes across all boundaries of all different types of hunting, camping, hiking, spectating. I mean, there's, like I said, applications for any type of outdoor use. And man, you think that Pulsar's done a good job. They've got a good line.
They've done better than anybody else.
But yeah, I would like for them to see, eventually move out those Helions, get the 640 and the Axion. That would be a great improvement already to build on already a very good product with the Axion XM models.
Okay, one more thing on my wish list, and I don't know if this is possible, but I'd like to see the Pulsar Thermion 640 12 micron.
Mm-hmm.
It's been rumored around. It's been wished for.
And they've never had a 640 12 micron.
No, and see that. So right now we've got the 320 12 microns, but the 640s are still the same ULIS core. That's a 17 micron. We do know that ULIS, that's the manufacturer of the thermal cores, now has their 640 core in a 12 micron. So that is my wish list, is that they would find a way to put that thing in a Thermion, and we would have a 640 12 micron. That would be awesome. If
they came out with a 640 12 micron with video recording and rechargeable batteries, would that pretty much wipe Trijicon? and they raised it by $1,000? Would that I'm going to say
no. And I'm going to tell you why. if we're making wild predictions, because I have never seen the ULIS 12 micron 640.
Yeah.
I don't believe it's going to equal the BAE. I think it's going to be.
But even if it's 90% of the BAE, I mean,
I think it's got to be 90% to really to really hurt them. They're already hurting them, but to really hurt them and move in on them, then yeah, and I think if you're right if it's 90%, but if it's 80-85%, I don't know. I think there's still a market then for the Trijicon. But yeah, I agree. That's my wish.
Yeah.
I mean, I would love to see that with all the features. Now, I know we need to wrap the show. Let's talk about what we really think is going to happen, what my prediction is. My prediction is I think we're going to see the thermions with the laser rangefinder. I think that seems obvious.
Yeah.
We've got the trails that are going into their third year, 17, 18, no, they're in their third year.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were announced in 17 January, so 18, 19. No, gosh, I'm not good at math. All of 17, all of 18, all of 19. So yeah, they're in their third year, and so yeah, I think that it's time for the trails. I think it's time they go away, but I think just in their product cycle. I think they're going to have to, but they can't until they get a laser rangefinder. Those are just too popular. So I really think we'll see a Thermion laser rangefinder model. And I do think, I'm making my wild prediction here, but I kind of do think we will see that Axion line expanded. I don't know if we'll get exactly what we're asking for, but gosh, it just seems logical to expand that line.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you think?
So I had somebody ask me about that the other day, if they thought the Thermion was going to eventually come out with a laser rangefinder, and I said, well, I hope so. All the signs look like it should.
Yeah.
So, my prediction, my wish list is the same yours. My prediction is that they will eventually do that, but I don't think that that's going to be SHOT Show.
You don't think
time.
they're going to do what?
I think they're going to do the laser rangefinder on the Thermion. I think
you think that's a SHOT Show release?
No, I do not think that.
You do not?
No.
Oh, this is man, I wish this wasn't at the end and we weren't out of time. So do you think that the trail laser rangefinders will stay around through 2020?
I do. They're going to continue to sell the trails. Through 2020. So I think that that model, that look is going to stay with the laser rangefinder. Now,
that's an interesting prediction.
Here's the thing, and we need to remind everybody, although that these scopes, new enhancements or new features or new scopes are announced at SHOT Show, these things typically don't affect the market until summertime. So even though it's announced,
let's be clear, we still haven't seen the XM30 Thermion. We don't even. I mean, at this point, I don't have a clue.
That was announced at SHOT Show in January of last year.
That's
this
right.
Year. Yeah.
We still don't even have enough of the other Thermions. They started shipping in the midsummer. The XP50 and XP38 didn't start shipping until a couple months ago, late summer. When the trail laser rangefinder models were announced, they were announced in January. They didn't ship until November. You talk about, should I wait to buy something? If you're waiting today to buy something, what you're basically saying is, I might not see that optic for one full year if it's even announced. Yeah. If it even happens, it could be June, July, August to November, depending on when it comes out, if it even comes out, because there's guys that have been waiting on the Thermion XM30s since January, and it's in limbo. We don't know anything about it right now, and we're in October. So yeah.
Well, and we're going to go ahead and wrap because we've already talked this show and
let's be clear. This is you better wear your rubber boots when you listen to this show because it is deep in here because we are guessing. We have no clue.
Guessing. We're guessing and hoping, and like I said before when we started, there's no inside information. That we're trying to hold back her share or anything like that. It's just our two guys guessing that, if you could write out a wish list on hope of what would come out. We still didn't even talk about Sightmark, and we'll have to get to that to another time. But
man, yeah, didn't even think about that.
They came out with the Wraith. The Wraith has just been a flat out home run. It is. You can't keep them things in stock.
We'll make the prediction. They're going to have the Wraith 4K. It's going to come. I mean, I don't even know if that's. I think that'll happen at SHOT Show. Yeah. I mean, everybody's been asking about it. There was some stuff leaked about it that they might do it. I think that's what's going to come.
Yeah.
I have some more predictions on that, but that's that.
Stay tuned to the Late Night Vision Show leading up into the SHOT Show 2020. We're going to have a lot of content around that show. It's just for our industry, that's pretty much the Super Bowl.
It is. It is the Super Bowl, Christmas, New Year's all in one.
So stay tuned. We'll have more shows centered around the SHOT Show. We may even have another show from the SHOT Show like we did this year. But hey, to find the show, if you're watching on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe. If you're listening to us on iTunes, Google Play, or Spotify or any of those other services, go check us out on YouTube. We produce the videos, and you can subscribe to us there. If you're listening to us on a podcast app, please go ahead and give us a big rating or a thumbs up or whatever it is that they do. But you can find Jason. If you're interested in purchasing night vision or thermal optics, you can give Outdoor Legacy Gear a call at 877-350-1818. You can always visit the website at outdoorlegacygear.com. You can find me on Instagram at HansETX, and also on YouTube at HansETX. And you can find Jason over there on Facebook and Instagram at the Outdoor Legacy Gear as well. So y'all go check us out over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Folks, we thank y'all for tuning in every week and putting up with us and listening to us cut up and act goofy. And this week, just us doing nothing but making crystal ball predictions, and we hope y'all enjoyed it. And if after we get to SHOT Show and we see how totally wrong we are, this episode will be wiped off the internet and it will never be found again. But no, we're used to being wrong, so that won't be anything new at all. But hey, thanks for tuning in every week. Thanks for all the support. We get a lot of emails, a lot of phone calls.
Hey, can I break in real quick? We get people from all over the world. We get emails from people in New Zealand, Germany, Russia. I mean,
all
over the world that listen to the show. It is amazing how many people tune in every week and watch and listen. And it is very humbling because when we started, had no idea it was going to turn into this, but very, very grateful.
Yeah, I agree. We are, and we do. We have listeners from all over, and I talk to a lot of people every week who listen and watch. And so we thank you. Thank you for it, and we really appreciate it. So listen, folks, this was episode number 74, wasn't it? Yeah, 74. Hard to believe. Next week, the big 75. We will be back, good Lord willing, and the creek don't rise. And we've got another review for you. You'll have to stick around and see what that's going to be, but I think y'all are going to like it. So we will see y'all next week. Stay safe in the fields and keep making those bacon pancakes.